action, and I know that it's real. JFK said, John F. Kennedy said that effort and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. And so I think about that, and I know that it starts with courage, but purpose and direction are two things Mr. Sullivan had. And he talked about it in the video, and we've heard about it, that great purpose of why we are here, finding work for others, and making a difference in the lives of others, really was the driver. And I love his little statement, and let's make a little money for the shareholders along the way. And that was always part of the conversation. And we never left a conversation without those two things in balance. Is our purpose in line, and are we providing a great return for shareholders? And I appreciate that. Direction. Bob has an opinion, and I love that about him. And he's quick with his opinion, and he's fast with his opinion. And one of the great honors that Bob gave me one day was the Honorary New Yorker Award. Joe participated in that, but it was very meaningful to me because it listed some of the characteristics of a New Yorker. And Bob had all those, and I aspired to have some of those. But that quick opinion was always important to me. I knew where he stood, and I knew his philosophy, and he didn't waver from it. He started there, and he usually ended there. He would listen, and he could be swayed, but his experience and his direction came deep, and I appreciated that. You know, Mr. Sullivan, the day that I was promoted to be CEO, I don't know if you remember this, but this is in his New Yorker style. The board went home, and Bob was taking the red-eye home that night to New York, and he said, "Can we get 9 holes of golf in on the way to the airport?" And I said, "Sure, Bob, that'd be great." And so he jumped in my car, and before we pulled out, he said, "There's one thing I need to say to you, Steve, before we leave. You know I will fire you for lack of performance or lack of values." "Yes, Mr. Sullivan, I know that about you." "All right, let's go play golf." I knew that about him, and I stood for that, and that's the protection that he always gave to shareholders, and he never waved from those things. And it was always nice to know that consistency, Mr. Sullivan. I appreciate that. A tough-minded individual, direct, and I wondered where his empathy was at times, but I saw it. You had to watch for it closely. Through his experience, he did have empathy, and another time I was, after a business meeting I had with him back in New York, we also slipped out for a short round of golf, and he invited a couple of his buddies to come, and there was a putt to be made for money. Probably it was a dime or something like that, but his friend said, "Do I have to make that, Bob?" And Bob said, "Yes, you have to make that." And the man missed it, and the man was mad as can be, and I was like, "Well, where's Mr. Sullivan's empathy?" And he's walking away snickering. And I recognized their empathy came is because he had missed that same putt before one day. And it just felt good that he knew how that felt. I appreciate that. Joan, thank you for all that you've done for the organization, for your support of Bob, for your support of me, for all those calls that I made to your home, and you answered. I knew you had a smile on your face. I could hear it in your voice. For opening your home to me when I visited to have business meetings with Bob. You were just always a delight, and I knew the support was there, and I can see what you see, Bob, in your lovely bride. I remember the day that I fell asleep on your couch. Bob fell asleep in his recliner, and I said, "What am I going to do now?" So I just laid down and fell asleep. And you came home and found us there, and you thought that was quite a sight. So, but thank you for your hospitality. I sure appreciate that. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Joan, and best to you in your future. Thank you. Well, when I was on this stage last year, I spoke about